Healing crystals, skincare routines, knitting a sweater, fitting in jeans. With Katie and Sarah, no need to worry, you're on a lady journey.
Welcome to Lady Journey. Hello and welcome.
Yeah, welcome to Lady Journey.
Everybody, we're in 2024. This is the new year. This is January. We're in the midst of the grip of winter, if you're in one of those winter states.
Katie, do you have any resolutions?
Yes, New Year's resolutions.
No. I
Yeah.
guess like maybe work out, but I've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
So every time I go to the doctor, she says, again, you're malnutritioned, and this is just like going on for years.
That's just the Irish culture, I feel. You know, you're like, I only eat potatoes. What am I supposed to do?
They give you all your vitamins.
How do I get trace elements? You need citrus.
I do need citrus.
Do you really get advice from the doctor that you're malnourished?
Oh, yeah, not even advice, just that she says it point blank.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
How
Wow.
rude.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's true. I don't
Yeah.
eat fruit. I don't like the feeling of it in my mouth,
Yeah.
and I don't.
What do you eat? What are your staples? What's your
I
go-to?
just eat a sandwich every day. Sometimes
Okay.
I don't eat a lot too. I just kind of like graze or whatever.
Yeah,
but yeah, I eat
that's
a sandwich.
lady.
A girl dinner, of
Yeah,
course.
girl
I
dinner.
mean, grazing, isn't that just what we should be doing?
Yeah, I'm a really good woman.
Few little chips. Yeah, that's good. Just make
I did
yourself
eat chips on the
smaller.
way here
Yeah.
for breakfast.
Our guest today is Katie Boyle. She's a comic and she's from Ireland.
I am.
How many years have you been living here in the States now? As they call it, the States.
Over 9 years.
Really? Oh my
we
gosh.
call it the States. You don't call it the States.
No, we call it like United
America.
States or like America or like
Number
God's
one.
country.
Yeah. We're more progressive though, because
Yeah.
a lot of like Latin Americans don't like that you call it
The state.
America.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes,
Well,
sure.
So
It is our ignorant mindset when you say it's going to take place in America.
Yes.
I automatically assume here.
Or call each other like Americans. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm American.
and
yeah.
never take in consideration what goes below the belt.
Yeah. But that is the egocentric mindset of the country, I think. We epitomize it.
yeah.
I love it. But now, so you moved from Ireland. Did you move here to do stand-up? What precipitated your move?
No, I originally moved here to work in the art world.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I did art in Ireland, and that's what I wanted to do. Not necessarily work in the art world, but you know, if you work in it, then you get to meet people, and then you get to like be an artist or whatever. But I was an artist in Ireland, and then here it was just a lot of like, I don't know, the job I worked in, I hated. First, it was unpaid.
Yeah.
The internships are unpaid.
Okay.
Always.
Oh my
Art
gosh,
world's
yeah.
always like that. And then they're like wondering why they lack diversity or anything because it's just rich white people.
Yeah,
that
I
get
was
to
the
do it.
diversity, a
Yeah.
white accented woman.
We did it.
yeah. And they were so mean too. They were just, a lot of them were like rich kids. And in Ireland, you don't see that level of like classism, or I never saw it growing up. So it was just like no banter and using like words that were 17 syllables. And they were just kind of like very mean girls. So I felt very uncomfortable.
Well,
Oh,
I
wow.
felt like when the first time I moved to New York, I noticed that it was very common to ask, where did you go to school? And nobody really gives a shit in Texas.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you just assume UT or A&M.
They're like, you went to school? That's great.
I feel like here it's more like to see if you went to Ivy League or something.
Yeah, I always had people ask me that, and I would be like, I went to a really small, like, liberal arts college in the Midwest that had like 4,000 people. I'm like, you don't know it.
Yeah.
You don't know the school that I went to.
I would just say high school.
Warren Central, shout out, 20th anniversary coming up.
I just started speaking Irish very badly.
Now, Irish breakfast tea, are you a fan? Do you love it?
Yeah. Oh no, I live off it. That's why I probably don't eat as much as I should, because anytime I'm hungry, I just make a cup of tea, and it's bad. But I live off tea. I drink like 10 cups of tea a day.
Oh my God, I love an Irish breakfast. So strong.
Yeah.
Is there a difference between Irish breakfast and English breakfast tea?
Do you know, we believe there is. Whether or not there is, I don't 100% know. It's coming from the same place, neither England or Ireland.
You can buy it at the store, and I've always been like, it's the same thing, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So my favorite is Lions, and England does have their own one called like
Twine. Is it Twinings and there's Hartney and
No,
Sons? and-
PJ.
Oh, okay.
This one, and
PJ,
it actually is they're both triangle. And when I couldn't find Lions one day, I just went and got the PJ one. And when I looked at the back, it was like same company as Lions, and I was like, oh, but they just have to market it because they can't be given the English, the Irish shite.
How
you know?
dare you? Yeah.
Yes, this is the tea for the pores.
Yeah.
Now, how do you take your tea? Lots of milk?
You good bit, but I don't drink milk here because it hurts my stomach.
That's right. I
So I'm a
remember
little
you've told me
bitch.
that. Yeah, you have a lactose. But
Just
you're
here.
fine with the milk in Ireland,
Yeah,
though.
or just like in little doses. But like the dairy in Ireland's so fresh, it's way better for your stomach.
Yeah, I believe that.
But I drink it with oat milk. Yeah, lots of oat milk. I drink like a carton of oat milk every 2 days.
Oh, I love a little oat milk.
quite
So
a bit.
creamy.
I know they're gonna come out and be like, because remember it was like almond.
There's carcinogens in it or something.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was soy, and they were like that makes you grow tits.
Yeah. You're like, okay,
I'll
not
take
bad.
it.
Yeah. I didn't like it. I was getting really bad acne, and so then I switched to almond, and almonds kind of gross, and then they said it's bad for the environment. So I was like, that's great, it's gross anyway. And then oat milk, they haven't come for yet. So we'll see.
Well, they are
it's
actually
happening.
coming for it now because they're saying, which don't change what you do. 'Cause I
milk
know.
wars.
Milk wars, the culture milk wars of 2024. Because I'm actually an almond milk drinker. I love almond milk. I know it's bad. It takes 1 gallon of water for the almond, but it's like, okay, whatever.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's going back into the
I like
environment
it.
somehow.
I'm peeing.
Right?
I am
Yeah.
peeing. So, but the thing they're saying about oat milk is that it spikes your blood sugar. So it's very high sugar. It's like basically eating like a piece of cake or something. It spikes your blood sugar way up. And also oats, the way that oats, they have a lot of chemicals, pesticides sprayed on them, like the one really bad one, which is the glyphosate. That's the Monsanto one, which they spray, and it's like a big cancer causer.
great.
Yeah.
But look, you
no,
only
it's
live
fine.
once.
Yes. Yeah.
And I quit smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, you're
And I don't
fine.
do drugs.
No, have the milk.
I need
have
that.
the milk.
I don't even eat a lot of sweets. I don't like sugary stuff. So this is my sugar.
Really?
Yeah.
But you love your tea.
Yeah, but I wouldn't find that sweet. I don't find oat milk sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, no. Now you have a lot of tea imagery in your press. I had a look at some of your press materials. Your album cover, I'll do
Yeah.
it myself, came out recently. Now, is it an album or a special that you'd put out?
Both.
Both.
Yeah,
Okay, at the
both.
same time. Love
no,
it.
the album I did earlier, special I did later, and then the special has like 20 minutes more than the album has.
Oh, okay. Little extended cut.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and the cover has got you and a teapot
yeah.
and a cup of tea. And I was
Yeah.
like, this girl must love tea.
Do you know what's funny too? It's not like I intentionally ever did all the tea stuff. The original tea, well, I do drink a lot of tea.
Yeah.
And then the original headshot with the teapot was Carmen Legala's idea years ago. And then that kind of just stuck in anytime I went to do headshots. Like they were like, bring a teapot. It
Yeah.
kinda
Oh,
just-
yeah. It's kind of like Mary Poppins.
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
that's your branding.
Yeah.
Now, the original headshot, you guys maybe haven't seen it, but you will once you check out Katie's website. She's got her long hair. She's got beautiful long hair, and then she's run it through the teapot. She's pouring it out as though,
Yeah.
there's been a
There's
bad,
tea.
there's been a hair accident, a confusion. Now, do you ever drink coffee?
Sometimes since the pandemic, I started drinking it because we were all a bit sad. So I was like, I'll
Yeah.
try something. But I didn't. You have to make yourself like it.
Yeah.
And now I
It's
like
acquired.
it.
Yeah. I have to say, I switched to tea during pregnancy because I found coffee to be too acidic. That it was getting reflux.
Yep,
This
that'll
is so
do it.
Lady Journey.
Lady Journey. I was getting acid reflux. I swear to God, I thought I had a heart condition. Like every time I would eat like tomato chili or something, I would just get like a fluttering right here. And I was like, I'm having a heart attack.
Yeah.
But it turned out, I think, never looked into it, but I think it was my esophagus having
On
a
fire.
spasm. Yeah. But I would get it from coffee. I do 1 cup of coffee, then I switch to tea. So
Yeah.
sometimes I do a English breakfast. Sometimes I do a green, but I go like lower through the day.
Yeah, green is like.
You don't like it?
Well, it's
I don't
just
like
like
it
so
either.
same. It's like at that point, like, are you even enjoying it? Like, what is that for? You know what I mean? That's like
Yeah, it's
doing
like
a workout or
dirty
something.
bath water
Yeah.
almost.
Good
As
for
I'm
your
having
face.
some right now.
Is it really? Maybe I should
Yeah,
start.
I
It's
did.
got antioxidants.
Yeah, I did for 2 weeks do it as a toner, and then I fell off.
Oh, so you're putting it on on a physical application rather internally, right?
Yeah,
External.
physically on.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think of you a lot when I have acid reflux because you have that. I know we said we wouldn't talk about.
Yeah, and
comedy,
I
but
owe
you're-
Joe an apology for that joke
Yeah,
because
because-
it's horrific.
Well, I think about it when I used to brush my teeth a lot. We've gotten a new toothpaste now. I just splash out for an extra one, but I would gag every time, and then I would think about
It's
you
too
being
minty.
like, like get over it.
Yeah, I don't want to hear about it. I just don't like hearing about people's problems.
I mean,
No,
and
wait,
you wouldn't
what-
do well in Ireland.
No.
You love to complain.
What joke are you referencing?
Just like where Joe's like, because there was a moment where he was like telling me that there's a lot of people that suffer in silence from acid reflux,
yes,
and I was
yeah.
like, could you also suffer in silence?
Yes.
Because he had OCD on top of it, so it was an obsessive thought. So he would bring it up so many times during the day that I was like, either fix it or stop talking about it.
I feel like my boyfriend feels like that with me though, because I'm sick all the time, and then I'm always annoyed that I don't get sympathy. And he's like, "You're sick every Tuesday. Like, at what point?" Do you know what I mean? Now
Yeah.
it's like the norm.
The norm, yeah. Like,
Yeah. But, is it because of the malnourishment?
Maybe. Yeah, he's like, just eat. And like he struggles with like overeating. You know, he has a thing with his head and he eats.
Yeah.
And so he's like, just eat. And I'm like, you stop. And so we're like at the opposite end of the
That's
balancing it
Opposites
out.
attract.
Yeah,
you
like you give me some of that food.
Yeah.
You could take supplements.
Yeah. No. I could do so much. I could exercise. I could remember to take
Yeah.
vitamins. I'm getting the vitamins where I ordered them so they come every month, but now they're coming and I'm not finishing them. So now I just have so many vitamins that I haven't finished.
Oh, you're
Yeah,
on a
that happens.
subscription.
Yeah,
Oh,
but I'm
no.
just like very spacey with days, and then I kind of would just go, I'll do it tomorrow, and then it's 6 months later.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you on birth control? I feel like it could be that.
No.
Okay, definitely not.
Thank
No,
God.
I think
Yeah.
it's ADHD,
Yes.
and I'll never take medication for that.
Oh,
so.
of course.
Of course.
I mean, who doesn't have a little ADHD?
Yeah, especially women. Apparently, it's like really. I was told as a child, and then they just were like, whatever. And then when I went to therapy here, she was like, yeah. And then that was it.
I think I have it, but it just feels something that a lady, like something I would, you know what I mean? Like a white lady would be like, I have problems too. You know what I mean?
My
Like,
adversity has struck again.
I think it's a superpower.
but I do think
though.
I have it. I think it is a power, but then it's also a curse because
it
the
ruins my life.
procrastination, it is. I think it ruins self-esteem
Yeah.
because you're like, I think I would have had I had potential
Yeah.
and I couldn't get to it.
Yeah, because I couldn't
cannot
focus.
find
Yeah.
But then when you do focus, when you hyper focus,
hyper.
you make like you can do so much. So I feel like for that, if it's you could really touch into it and
Yes.
yeah. But then
It's rare.
sometimes I feel like I've done so many things to like control it, but sometimes it'll just go like a little off, and like I'll be like with a group of people and they'll be in slow-mo and I'll have to be like, don't interrupt, listen, oh god, they're after saying two things, oh god, I'm not gonna remember, oh god, what are they saying now, they're looking at me.
Yeah.
Time for another cup of tea.
I know.
And then you haven't listened to anything they've said.
I'm
Ultimate-
repeating it, so then
Yeah.
I'm missing the last thing. So when they look, I'm like, "Oh, do you mind if we just circle back to?"
Yeah, when you get
Yes.
caught in your mind like that, that's very tricky. It's very tricky. You have great eyebrows, not to change the subject, but I'm just staring
I
at your
colored them.
brows.
Yeah, they're great.
They're
Are they okay? I'm
fantastic.
always
They're
afraid
natural.
they're
Did
not.
you do like a tint or did you color at home?
I do it at home with that MAC brown eyeshadow.
Ah,
Yeah, just
okay.
eyeshadow,
They're,
nice.
they're looking so even.
Thank you. Okay,
like
good.
my
I'm always
brows
worried
are-
about that.
And they're natural.
Sparse.
They're
Yeah.
natural looking.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, good.
You're
Okay.
not like Esmeralda. You know what
yeah.
like I just picture like the gradient one that goes like
Oh, I know what you're saying.
when you go to
Sephora.
Sephora and you're like, whoa.
Whoa! I know. I'm from the era where the thinner the brow, the closer to God. I mean, like remember when people? I got my brows waxed. I would get them waxed when I was in my early 20s, and it would just be like a thin strip. And it's like I always feel like the thinner someone's eyebrow is, the more unhinged
Yeah.
they are.
It's a sign.
Yeah,
It's coming back
it's-
though.
The
Yeah,
thin
the
brows are
90s
coming
look.
back.
Yeah.
It's the 90s look.
Interesting.
Or like blonde bleach in their eyebrows.
Everything's coming back. Everything's coming back. I'm like, I think I'm done. I
Yeah,
think I'm
yeah.
done trying to appease Gen Z that I'm the same age as them.
Yeah.
Now I'll just be old.
It's funny because I like Gen Z. I think they'll save the world, but they are very like judgmental of like the older generations, but then they're like wearing what we wore when we were 12. So I'm like, oh, okay, you're so judgmental. Why don't you think of your own stuff? Why don't you put your choker on your ear? Or something?
Yeah, I know. I'm like, get
Have
back to
original
me when you're
thought.
34 and none of your dreams worked out. Then we can talk. Then
There's
we'll bond.
a whole theory that Gen Z and boomers, even though they hate each other, are very similar.
Yes.
There's a whole article and like Vulture.
I remember you were telling me
thesis.
that, and ever since you told me that, I have found it to be like very true. Like I'm getting a lot of comments on stuff, social media, and it's like it's either boomers or Gen Z people. And I actually have been posting some content for women lately, and I'm getting a lot of female trolls, which has been delightful. And like we can do it too.
They're
ladies.
usually older
yes,
or the Gen Z.
or the Gen Zs.
Yes.
A woman wrote something really mean on mine. And then when I clicked on her page, it was like, American living in Ireland. I was a bitch.
Yes.
You're living in Ireland.
That's
You're
always
over
it.
attacking me.
You click on their profile, it's like a lover of God, kindness, children, love.
I had one that I clicked on her account and she was doing really well, but she was like a fat Jew account, like curating stuff and taking it. And then I think in her mindset, she thought she was actually creating her own content.
Oh, she thinks she's a star. But so did the fat Jewish. Like, that's
Yeah.
what he thought, that he was like a genius with his weird sticking up. I haven't heard that referenced in a million years. I'm like,
Yes.
wow, remember that guy?
And then I remember the hate towards him, even though a little bit was justified, but it ended up turning over to where I was like, now it feels like actual anti-Semitism.
Yes, they went too far. I know. Well, he did have a fun brand. He spent the time to put his braid in a chopstick, whatever was making it stand up straight like that. Again, if you don't know, we're referencing a former
It's like
content
a fuck
creator
Jerry account.
Yeah, his name was the Fat Jewish. It was like Fat Jewish on Instagram. And what he would do is he would pirate people's comedy and he would put it to his own account. I mean, he was curating.
But he never tagged.
He never tagged. There was never any type of, credit given, anything like that. But anyway, his downfall in the 2010s.
Yes, and he was profiting too.
He was making money from it.
Yeah.
His downfall was delicious, though. Oh my gosh, what a fun one. Now, Katie, tell us about Ireland, because we love talking about like travel stuff on this podcast. I've always had a dream of taking a trip I want to go to Dublin. I want to do like the classic American woman who has Irish heritage somewhere in the 23andMe, maybe as low as 20% even, to come to my roots, drink at the oldest bar, have Guinness, even though I don't like it.
It's better in Ireland. You think you don't like it,
And
but
it's
'cause
good for
here.
you. Well, it's not as, it's lighter than like light beers.
Yeah,
That
it's-
blew my mind.
Oh, really? I thought it was like a high calorie.
No.
It's recommended for it used to be recommended for pregnant women.
Oh my God, I
Yes.
love Ireland. I already love it.
Used to be.
They're like, this is medicine, everybody.
Yeah. No. It's much nicer there. You're getting shite here, so you can't even compare.
So what's
Yeah.
the Guinness like in Ireland?
It's creamy. It's tasty. It's
I
fresh.
used to love Guinness and Murphy's.
Oh, I
which
haven't
was like
had
the
one. I haven't
English
had one for years.
version of a Guinness.
You ever do an Irish car bomb? You ever do that?
Well, it's tricky asking an Irish person if they've ever done that. Because are you asking if I'm a part of the IRA? I think I tried one in Chicago. I know it's meant to be like we're meant to be offended, but I tried one and honestly I was offended that it was so fucking disgusting.
I know. Here's the thing. It's not a drink for a lady. You know, if you're a lady
Whiskey
drinking
into a Guinness.
into a
with
Guinness.
a Bailey, so it curdles if you don't drink it fast.
Yes,
Oh.
that's the thing. You have to gulp
Diarrhea.
it down, and it is curdling, and then it's like curdling in your stomach.
The guy who invented
And that's
it had
the Irish
to
car
apologize
bomb.
a while ago. Like
Did he
recently,
really?
like a few years ago.
Oh,
yeah,
because he named it something offensive.
Well, yeah, because it's offensive. Well, you know, Irish people are always like, it's fine. But then too many things. I think it was like not just a car bomb, but then the black and tans drink, and then there was the black and tan ice cream. And
What's
then
the
there was,
black and tan? What's offensive about a black and tan? Because I have had one. That's a Blue Moon and a Guinness, right?
It's like an ex-militant group that were sent in to kind of like, and they would do a lot of collective punishment on Irish people, like murder, assault, all of
I
that
didn't
stuff.
know
Yeah, so they were like
that.
British, but like crazy. They wore a black and tan outfit because they didn't have the regular military outfit.
Yeah,
during,
I see.
World War
Gotcha.
One. Yeah.
Now, what about
Had no
Irish
idea.
coffee?
It's so funny when you have no idea that you're partaking in like
A
hate
slur.
crimes.
Yeah. I'll have a black and tan. Sorry about your heritage.
I'll
It's
get the
usually
Irish
in Irish
rapist.
bars as well. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, but I think, people from Ireland are like, it's kind of but
After a while, the branding gets a little.
It was more because there was the St. Patrick's Day ice cream flavor they did as a black and tan, and then one of them did a Sunday Bloody Sunday, and we've had two of those. So I think at that point the people just went, enough's enough. We're not-
It's like
Sunday
the 9/11
history.
towers that we were eating in their ice cream.
Yeah. I'll
You're
have
like-
the Ben and Jerry's 9/11 flavor. Twin Towers cookie dough. But yeah, Sunday Bloody Sunday, I have to say, like, as a flavor, as a name for a food, that's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
Like, what is this? A lot of grenadine? Now, what about Irish coffee? Because I love an Irish coffee. Is there
Yeah.
anything offensive about that?
No, drink that
Oh,
away.
good.
And the other stuff you can drink, it's fine.
That's what my family has it on. Irish coffee is like a Christmas Day treat.
Plus, it's good. I had one at I forget what it's called, like Two Doors or something in the near in the East Village. But anyway, they did a banana cream, and that I cheated. I ate the dairy. Oh, it's good.
Now,
Yum, yum.
tell us what do you expect in an Irish coffee? Like, how is it made according to you?
I guess just coffee, whiskey. A lot of places back home will put sugar and cream.
Yeah.
Do you
Okay.
do the creme de menthe on top of the?
I don't. I've never had that, but that sounds
Okay.
lovely.
I think
Ooh, a
we were
little
doing that
minty.
at our bar for a while.
No, that sounds great.
Oh, that
Yeah.
sounds yummy.
Yeah.
I love hot drinks, I have to say.
too.
Even if you like a hot drink also is very easy to go like non-alcoholic because you're like, "Oh, I love a little like cider."
Yeah.
Oh my god, we love a spiked cider.
Yeah.
Ah.
A hot whiskey's the best.
So, what do you say like if somebody like me wants to go to Ireland like going to Dublin, can you tell like what's
Give
the
us
best thing to do?
A starter packet.
Yeah, starter kit.
And what to avoid.
Yes. Oh, yes. Don't get a black and tan. We've learned that much.
So starter pack going to Dublin, what to do and what to avoid.
Should we get into bar fights? I picture lots of
I
bar
mean, you'll
fights.
die.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, you die.
it's an intense.
I mean, Americans die there sometimes.
Do they really?
They're
Wow.
on. You can find them on YouTube, and they're insane. Joe said he saw one while he was over
Oh, you
there.
witnessed a bar fight? Wow.
Yeah,
And it's just
yeah.
like ladies are.
We
in
might
there.
not have guns, but they're like
Knife
knives and
stabbings.
stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
So
Erotic.
I think my tips for Americans are always like just your voice in general is going to be an octave higher than Irish.
What?
So like I don't notice it until I go back, and like when I was with my boyfriend back there, I was like, because he's like you guys, you would think he's quiet, he's a quiet man,
Yeah.
and then I go back and I was like, his voice is just it's louder than Irish people, so you're automatically spotted then that you're an American. So it like if you go into bars and play, they're gonna love Americans, they tip, they're gonna take good care of you, we love our tourism. But just if you're just walking down the street, it's you don't want to get robbed or anything like that. So I think just
blend in a
talk
bit.
like this.
Blend in.
Lower.
Yeah.
We do have loud voice. It's almost like whose dick do I have to suck to get service
To get
here?
some Guinness.
Yeah.
Who do we have to blow to get a black and tan?
And it's almost like
It's just like there's a slight rudeness I feel like that
yeah.
happens.
it's just like a kind of main character thing too,
Yes.
because like with
Yes.
Irish people, it's really embarrassing to be the loudest person. And like, of course, when we get drunk, but like for the most part, let's say if we were all out for lunch and there was half Irish or there was full Irish and there was one table of Americans, everybody who's sitting on that table would be able to hear the Americans because everybody's like, we're out for lunch. People are like, we'll talk like this because you don't want to interrupt someone else and you don't want them to hear.
I love
But yeah,
that, though.
And then
Yes.
you're over there like, oh my God, I got my period on Tuesday. And then I put a finger in his ass. And you're like, yeah.
That sounds like
oh.
us. That's hilarious. No, I love that. I do like actually that culture resonates with me as a woman. It's like you want to be, you don't want to be
A
the
mouse.
loudest person there. You want to
Yeah.
be, mousy.
Yeah, so the boys
Smaller.
are mousy until they get
Yeah.
a few booze and
Yeah.
stuff. But,
And then they
they're-
start beating the shit out
yeah,
of you.
yeah. They're like, I've had to be quiet for my whole life. And they just hit each other. But yes, I guess yeah. But Dublin's great. It's just so much fun and just
And,
eat loads of food.
you took your boyfriend. Your boyfriend is lifelong New Yorker. Is that right?
No, he's from Arizona.
Oh, he's from
Nice.
Arizona.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good
So
save.
that's, good American state.
I was about to say Austin. Yeah, with him like nearly 3 years.
No, you guys went to Ireland on a trip together.
Yeah, he's been twice with me.
What did you take him first time? Like, what did you show him?
What did I show him? Well, I kind of just showed him where I lived. We live in the countryside. I think maybe when I brought a mama and a tier, that's a better example. Because with Leland, it was just like showing him my family and stuff. And he wanted to go to history stuff. So we went to some fucking Collins Barracks, which is like fun, but not for me. Yeah. Fun for like, he literally is the Roman Empire TikTok thing. Yeah.
It's true.
So,
That
and
is a
World
thing.
War II and World War One. So he wanted to see all that sort of stuff. But with the girls, we did like, we went to my favorite bar, which is the International, and so that has like people just go and play music, and they're sitting down.
Fun.
So it's only like the size of this room, but like double the size, but like literally this is the size from the bar.
Yeah,
People are
cozy.
Yes. And then there's just people can get up and play music. They're not booked. People just do it every night. It's like their little open mic, but they're just sitting down and
how
everybody's
cool.
singing along. Yeah, so they're not. It doesn't feel like they're performing anybody because they're just sitting down and
Enjoying
practicing
each
their,
other.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like a lot of
God.
traditional like
I
people
didn't
play the
realize
bow on.
you were like doing a comedian exchange program. That sounds so fun.
Yeah.
Oh, we have to go. Can we bring the baby?
Yeah, sure.
Oh my God. Well, give him some Guinness. That's medicine. Get him
Good
started
for him.
early.
Good for his gums. And then just loads of like food, because the food is really good, the dairy is really good, the meat's really good. Like
Yeah.
people are like, oh, Irish food is bad and bland, and it's like, yeah, because you had Irish food in America. The reason why our food is good in Ireland is because we don't need spices, we don't need anything, because it's just the cow was like 5 feet away.
Of course. Now, what's some like a traditional Irish food that you would eat over there? Is it kind of similar stuff to what we're having here, but just farm fresh?
I guess so, yeah, just like a roast or like roast beef or
Oh,
lamb.
hearty. Oh my God.
Yeah, shepherd's pie or cottage pie.
Sounds amazing.
Which I feel like is also UK, but I don't know what theirs is like, but I'm going to say ours is better.
I'm sure it is.
It's probably made with a slightly different sauce.
And Kerrygold butter.
Yeah.
Oh my
we
God.
eat ours with HP sauce.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Brown sauce.
Yes.
Yeah.
I follow these different Hobbit cooking TikTok. You know what I'm talking about? Where
Hobbit
it's like
cooking?
a Hobbit's holiday meal,
Is it
and it's
the guy I dated?
He was wearing long socks.
well, it's like that type of food. It's like that genre of like shepherd's pie, like a roast, a mincemeat, and it's just like they just have like 18 courses, and it's so amazing. And then it's like, and finish it off with sticky toffee pudding.
Yes.
Oh, so
Sticky
good.
toffee pudding's great.
Yes, sticky
Custard
toffee's
is
good.
great.
Oh,
I
yummy.
love custard.
I know. I always feel like English and Irish food gets a bad rap, but I'm like, there's actually some really great roasts.
Yeah, I think it's
Stews.
just that you don't need, if the meat's good, whereas here the meat's, it's hard to get good meat, so it's just different. But so you gotta like put all your sauces or your, but there's a great ice cream store across from the International on Wexford Street, and I forget what it's called, but it's on Wexford Street if you're listening, and it's an ice cream store. It's like Dingle something or something ice cream, but they do all like random flavors, like brown bread ice cream or like sea salt ice cream or
love
like
it.
our like Irishy flavors too. Like our brown bread is like the soda bread.
Okay.
I would
I
recommend
love
that.
soda bread. Oh my God, so delicious.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
ice
and have
cream.
soda bread too. Yeah.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Now, what do you say? Like, can you give advice if someone's like packing to go to Ireland on a trip? Like, what do you need to take?
It's hard because you have 4 seasons in one day with the weather, like because
That's what
it'll
Maine's
definitely
like.
rain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So whatever you go for Maine, yeah.
It's the same kind of latitude, I think, almost.
It could be hot
Right?
during the day
Yeah.
with the sun out, and then at night it can get quite cold and then like rainy. So then you have to switch it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're going in
It's
the
quite
summer-
frustrating.
Yeah. If you're going in the summer, that's the only time you'd need something that's hot.
Yeah.
But the other days, you'll need like you could rain jacket.
Rain jacket and
Yeah.
rain boots. I love thinking about taking a trip to Ireland, like thinking packing. I'm just thinking like cable knit crew neck. Like,
Yes.
oh my
I live in that
wool.
fantasy world.
Yes.
Taking long walks to the pub.
Oh my gosh, yeah, just going to the pub. I'm never arriving. I'm just dressing and going and living in that moment for eternity.
Yeah.
You know?
I'm never cold or have stomach issues in my fantasies.
Yeah, or wildly overheated from the fact that I'm wearing 17 layers.
And you will be cold because that's
Yeah.
something like where the air is damp a lot. So like even if it's not raining, it's kind of damp, and so
It hits harder, right?
Yeah, and I find that the buildings at home are way colder than here, which I don't think I would have. I think I notice now going back. So I feel like unless you're in a hotel, but like in our house, I'm like I was freezing in it, you know. So I don't know if the insulation isn't as good as the States, But
Yeah. Well, I think also I noticed this like when I go to New England. Like I used to go to New England to stay with my aunt for Thanksgiving, and she rented like a small space in this gigantic like Victorian mansion from this woman. She owned this huge mansion, that not my aunt, the woman that she rented the room from. And it was gorgeous. And it was like, you feel like you were in like a storybook where like something magical, like a little man's going to pop out and like take you to another realm. But like, it was so huge and so old. And it was like, you can't pay to heat that. So it was like, oh yeah, it's just 50 degrees all the time.
Yes.
We have inside shoes. We have like inside coats, like our house coat.
You just stay near the fireplace.
Yeah. And my aunt, she lived in New England for years and years. And she's just now the type of person that's like, oh my gosh, I'm burning alive. It's like 53 degrees. She's like, oh my God, I better take my sweater off, you know? So I think, it's maybe similar, like people that are living that Maine lifestyle where it's just cold-blooded. You just get so cold-blooded.
And there's something too about Irish people as well. I know in Ireland, like your parents be like don't leave the immersion on for too long. That's for the hot water. Don't leave the heating on.
Yeah, that's Joe's
you could just put on a
family.
jumper. Why would you need a heat? So like every time I go back, I'm like,
Just
cold.
freezing.
yeah.
I had that at Joe's when I would go visit his family. I felt like his dad always had it.
Oh yeah,
cold,
like Boston.
and they have like Irish background. It was like him cold.
remember the bad times.
Yeah, like going from the room to the bathroom. It would
like a
be like
different
going to an
dimension, right?
outhouse because you're like, I'm
Yeah.
cold.
No, that's
It's not so bad anymore. I'd like to clarify that if they're ever watching this.
Turn the heat up. But
Yeah.
but I feel like Boston, there's so many Irish people in Boston because it does make sense to immigrate there as like it's so similar.
yeah, they're different Irish though.
Yeah, I feel like once
Okay.
you move away, you become you're same background, but you get Americanized.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, they are American. They were born here. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like the idea that they're not American, that concept, like a lot of them, and
Yes.
yeah, like they'll say that they're my people are from Ireland, but will have never been to Ireland. And my distant cousins, when they came to Ireland for the first time, they said, we've been calling ourselves Irish this whole time, but if this is Irish, we're not fucking Irish.
Yeah.
But it's my personality.
Yeah. So like it's like totally fine to be like I'm Irish American or whatever, but it's a different country. Like they're kind of time capsule from when they came over, and when their people came over, it's a different trauma. So like the people who stayed after the famine, they probably had to like eat people to survive. Do you know what I mean? Like the people who
Wow.
stayed in Ireland, they would have been under British rule, and it would have been that kind of oppression. Whereas the people who fled, and like for the Brits, they were like either we'll starve them and be able to control the population, or we'll get free workers in the States. So it was a win-win for them. And so they had this boat trauma firstly, because sure, half your family, they would call it coffin ships, half your family would die, and then you'd get there and then they were kind of like this lesser than, but told they were better than other people, but they're like they can crawl the ladder, but they have to do some shitty stuff to crawl that ladder, and they're still less than. So they kind of just stuck with themselves because they were like, who do we trust, sort of thing. And then and they became like a lot of big drinkers and stuff. So it totally different. They have their own trauma. So that's what I always think with people from Ireland and versus Irish Americans. It's like two different traumas. And then with Irish Americans, they're time capsules. They really held on to any of the kind of, whereas Ireland was forced out of a lot of cultural stuff because of the Brits. And we're getting a lot back into it, but it also became like a modern global country.
Yeah.
And so they come back and they're like, where's the fucking cottages?
Yeah.
Where's the? Why are you, woman? You're meant to be in the kitchen, right? Like, you're like, no.
I want to go down by the Bonnie Stream.
Or even the fact that it's diverse now as well. That kind of blows their mind sometimes.
Or
as well.
that y'all's laws are a lot more not as
More progressive.
conservative. Yeah, more progressive. You have legal abortion. Yeah, which is wild to think for a predominantly Catholic.
And we're not, a majority aren't seriously Catholic.
Yeah,
It's more like
just culturally Catholic.
like guilt and shame. I wake up feeling like I murdered someone every day, but I'm not going to go to mass at Christmas.
fun.
I don't really believe in all this stuff, but I have like just the constant dread of existence.
Yeah, I mean, we all have
generations
that.
of it.
We'll see. So it's just different, but no shame on the Irish Americans. They're great, and it's exciting sometimes when you go up to see that they still Irish dance and they know more fucking Irish than you do, and stuff like that. So it's like some of them are great, but it's just a different.
Well, I remember one time I worked with my bar manager. He was of Irish descent, but like maybe 3 or 4 generations, and a group of Englishmen came in, and he goes, "Fucking English," and I'm like, knowing the history, but then I was like, oh, are you still holding on you personally?
It's also it's
like
so, it's
you were
hysterical.
affected by this personally.
Yeah, get a hobby, Greg.
Yeah. It's also like your 4 generations, you were in America working for them.
Yeah.
You were working alongside them.
Yeah.
I mean,
you're
you
quite
didn't-
different than what was actually.
Yeah, what was, and I mean, I did, like, I always, when I have like a history joke on stage, and when I say it, I always go, like, I joke saying, we did this, we did it, we went through this, we did that. And I go, not me personally, but that's a very Irish thing to be like, oh, I died in the famine.
Yeah.
You know? Because like,
great.
I grew up when it was grand. I grew up in the South, whereas the last bombs, like the last troubles or whatever, was in 98. So I was in 8. So I watched it on, and I was 3 hours away. So I watched it on the news the way I watched 9/11. Do you know the way I was so, like, it was only 3 hours, but you felt like a different world.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that's so weird about, I haven't been to Ireland, but I'm going to kind of compare it to when I went over to England, is that even though it's so tribal,
Yeah.
And you realize
so
why it
different by
was-
small place to small place.
you just go 30 minutes different. It's a different accent. Like I was kind of blown away in Wales that they have their language. It's actually quite different than English.
Their language is like that word xylophone.
Yeah.
Every time I look at a Welsh word, it looks like xylophone.
Yeah,
to
it's
me.
just like a bunch of consonants
X and
and
Ys
Z's
and
and
Zs.
yeah, and you're like, their consonants sound like vowels sometimes. Then I find that with like, that's what I find so fascinating with Ireland, of like y'all's names, where you're like, that's not how I would spell that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
Siobhan
the Gaelic,
and Ray.
yeah.
And there's like 7 different versions of Maeve.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And it's like by town to town. So they obviously have the north and the south, and then there's by town, or like, sorry, by county has their own sports team. So it can be very tribal in that regard. Like, oh, you play for Longford, I play for Kildare, blah. And then, I lived on a hill, and it didn't matter. Like, it's not like rich people lived on a hill. It was like poor people live everywhere, and kind of slightly less poor people live everywhere. This isn't, the rich people only live in a place in Dublin called Blackrock,
Okay.
or like D4.
Nice. Which is like a name of a big conglomerate company here.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah. But the people on the hill versus the people who didn't on the hill had a tribal. So like, and this was like before I even existed. This was like the whole time in this little
That's
town
fun.
in Leaslip.
Ugh,
so like
hill
if
people.
Yeah, if you lived on the
people
hill
from uphill.
Yeah, you were called hillers, and the far enders were the bottom, and you would shout at each other and be like, hiller, scum, or far ender, scum, and you like throw rocks at each other. I never threw a rock, but if you dated someone from the opposite end, that was like Romeo and Juliet. Like it was.
Oh my god,
I kind of like it. It sounds fun.
I love it.
I'm gonna start doing that in Astoria.
Yeah, but it just shows how tribal
like
people are.
Astoria versus Elmhurst, where you're like, ugh.
Gross.
You're so far. You're so closer to the airport.
Airport people.
Now, Katie, you're freelancing, which I know I love. You're freelancing. You put a lot of energy into your career. Do you have any self-care practices that you do? Like when you're on the road, when you're killing yourself to get ahead, like what's your unwinding that you do?
I guess it is really tea. Like I'll always make sure, even if I'm on the road, like to pick up oat milk and make sure I have tea. And
Oh, yes.
It is cozy.
Yeah.
Oh my God, tea is so
I bring
hoogy.
tea packets.
Yeah, I'll bring
with
tea.
me as well,
I bring decaf and regular calf, and then I mean I do that odd face mask. I need to get better. I was gifted a massage recently,
Ooh.
which I had been saying I wanted for a while, but like that guy bet the living shite out of me. Like
Was it deep tissue?
I guess so, but then I didn't want to say anything, which is so Irish.
I know.
And like my back was, I'm still like, last night I was going to bed and I was like, I'm telling you, he's done, like in my head I was like, he's done like internal damage.
Yeah, your bruised organs.
Yeah, I asked my friend who's like a workout guy, he's a personal trainer, and I was like, do you think, and I was being full genuine, and I was like, do you think like I could have internal damage? Like what if you hit my kidney? And he just laughed in my face. So I guess that's not.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about massages. I will say, like, because I got my boyfriend a deep tissue massage for his birthday, and at the place that I was telling you that I loved, the Fish and Herbal Center. Remember I was talking about that, and I was like, this place is great. We got to go. I've been going to the same woman there. It's like a Chinese bodywork place, and she does a great job. Mike gets a guy who was really aggressive, and he didn't tell him, he just took it the entire time. And he comes out, he was like this. I'm like, hey, did you love it? He was like, I don't know what happened. And
I do feel violent.
yeah, it's like you don't, and then I don't think you even get anything out of it if it's that strong.
Or my fingers, you pull my fingers out of my sockets and put them back in. I thought I was
Just
like,
dislocated your
Yeah,
arm.
sticking his fingers in your eyes.
I didn't give them any information though.
Yeah, good.
Ireland would be proud. I didn't rat out where the IRA operatives are.
Katie, we love that you came on the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on
Yeah,
here
thanks for
today.
coming.
Can you tell our followers where you can be found?
At Katie Boyle Comic on everything, and the special is on YouTube, but it's also at Katie Boyle Comic.
All right, everybody check out Katie Boyle and please like and subscribe, follow Lady Journey, and if you're so inclined, join our Patreon.
Lady Journey.
Lady Journey.